doing, brother? How you feeling, man?
I'm great.
Hey, we're 10 days out. What can we expect? How you feeling? How's camp going?
I'm great. On my way to fantastic. Camp has been extraordinary as always. It's been different as always. A lot the same, but pushing, and almost done. This is peak week for us, and so we're making sure everything is polished for the fans on next for the fans next week.
All right, everybody on the call, this is not new to you guys. Hit the little raise hand button. Evan Korn is available as well. You can message him directly. Keith from Boxing Scene, why don't you kick us off, Keith?
Hey, Shawn, how you doing?
What's up, Keith?
Doing good, man. Thanks. Shawn, I was just wondering if you could tell me who you think is the most difficult fight for Terence before you step in the ring with him and why.
I think that the fight with Jose Benavidez may have been one of the more difficult fights for him. The one he had most recently with Mean Machine, I really just trying to read into that one. I'm not sure if it was Terence's mental approach that left him kind of losing a few rounds in that fight and getting put down in that fight. But I don't think that Terence has been in the ring with enough of that type of quality that can push him to some limits. I've been pushed to the limits multiple times, and I've answered every single time. And so I think that I've had the experiences required to get the job done and be that first guy to do it against Terence Crawford.
What was it about the Benavidez fight, Shawn? Do you think that made it difficult for Terence?
It was funny, man. Like watching that fight, I could see that Terence Crawford was like just ahead of Jose Benavidez in every aspect of the fight. But you could see that Jose had boxing ability, he had speed, and he had quickness, and he had some small nuances that weren't necessarily giving Terence problems, but it was challenging Terence. And I don't think anyone's really challenged Terence the way that Jose Benavidez was able to. Again, I speak to that Mean Machine fight. I don't think that Terence was necessarily there the way he was against Jose Benavidez. And I think that even though I don't think Jose won very many rounds, I don't remember Jose maybe 2 or 3 rounds through the course of going into that 12th when he got knocked out. But I just felt like he was just behind Terence in every aspect of that fight. And so when I look at that fight, I say, you know what? I know that I've got everything that Jose's got, and I got a little bit more. And so, when you turn it on and you make that small little difference there, you turn in, you're winning rounds. And I think that for a lot of this fight, it may be about winning rounds and then ultimately trying to hurt Terence and put him into some vulnerable positions.
Thank you, Shawn.
Dan Rayfield.
Thanks a lot. Hello, Shawn. Dan Rayfield here.
What's up, Dan?
How you doing? Looking forward to seeing you next week. My question for you is, you and Keith were just discussing sort of the level and the merit of the competition that Terence has faced. How do you feel about the fact that there are so many people, whether it's media or fans, that are excited for this fight? Because part of the reason, because they finally see Crawford be the one to step up and fight what people consider to be an elite welterweight, such as yourself. You've already done that numerous times in your career. But what can you talk about as far as the fact that it's Crawford finally getting the chance, it happens to be against you, to take on an A-level welterweight?
I'll be completely honest and candid with you, Dan. I had a conversation with someone. I won't tell you who it was, but they were saying you need to go get that fight with Terence. And I said, I don't want to be the first guy that he fights who people consider to be elite. And the reason why is because the worst is more than likely going to happen to him. And then everyone's going to look at him like he's not who he is. Terence Crawford is an elite boxer. He's a great boxer. And I think that, you don't want that first showing to be against one of the best elite boxers in the world. And it just happens to be the case with this fight. So, I think that while everyone's like, all right, we finally get to see him against one of the best, they're not going to get what they're used to seeing out of Terence Crawford.
All right, so you are supposed to be the big step up for him at welterweight, but you have faced, guys, at the top already, whether it was Spencer, Garcia, Thurman, even in your losses, they were super close. What are you going to bring different to show him that it is different levels in the welterweight division?
Well, yeah, I mean, I am different. You take a look at any of my fights, literally, and you'll see the combination of and the versatility that I have. And he has not been in the ring with that. And I don't think any of the other guys in the division, the elite guys that I've been in the ring with, they hadn't seen anything like me before, and they never will. I'm one of a kind. And with that being said, you say, hey, what makes you why are you the guy to beat Terence Crawford? No one else has. Well, I am rare. And when you're rare and people who aren't used to seeing what you have and can present, it's hard to adjust to on fight night, So I think that my experiences on top of my skills and everything that I have makes me the guy.
All right, very good. Thank you very much for that, Shawn.
You got it. Good to hear from you, Dan.
TC Martin, you're next. Please go on when ready, sir.
Cool. Hey, Shawn.
TC.
Hey, we know that you are always brimming with confidence. What do you see in Terence that really makes you confident that you're going to go in here and win this fight?
I'm gonna say this, and I don't think it's even gonna make a difference, but he's got this rhythm about himself, and he's got, of course, a confidence about himself as well. And that's kind of like where I live. Like, I live in disrupting your rhythm. I live in figuring out what makes you uncomfortable. And it's hard to adjust to on fight night, So when I look and I see the way he likes to move, and I start to not allow him to move that way and disrupt things, he's someone who he's an emotional fighter. He's gonna get uncomfortable, and it's gonna start to fester mentally and emotionally, and it's gonna show up in the fight.
And finally, talk about fighting in Vegas. I mean, you lived here a long time. You've been wanting to fight here for a long, long time. We've talked about it so many times, but just talk about finally getting that opportunity to fight basically in your second hometown here.
I tell you what, I'm glad I'm not fighting in front of that green screen. I'm glad that I'm actually fighting in Las Vegas. Moving here, we wanted to live here, train here, fight here, and we have not been able to do that, man. For this to be the big fight that it is, and for us to be doing it right here at home, it means a lot to me. Every fighter wants to be in Vegas, and even though I haven't had very many opportunities to fight here at home, I consider this for the magnitude of this fight and where it's happening it's perfect for me, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Thanks, TC. Ernesto Amador. Ernesto.
Thank you. This question is not only for Shawn Porter, but for Adam as well. 2021, it was great. It doesn't matter about the COVID. We had a great fight. And of course, Top Rank is the leader on this kind of event. So Bob and Shawn, you can tell that this fight will still the 2021 year, like a fight of the year. And why is that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, let me give a hand clap to Top Rank for being able to figure out how to move through the pandemic. They kept boxing going through the pandemic. And in my personal opinion, I feel that it's almost like the previews of a movie until the big movie. And this is the movie that everybody wants to see. I think that when you take a look at everything that myself and Terence Crawford possess, and who we are and what we've been to the sport of boxing, that that there's not going to be any letdown in this fight. And I think that that's why this fight is and will be the fight of the year.
Bob, do you want to chime in there on Ernesto's comments?
Review it for me.
Yeah, just that, Top Rank did a great job keeping boxing going through the bubble. And now we've got this big fight to look forward to as we sort of come out of things and get back to normal.
Yeah, that's certainly the case. I mean, obviously the pandemic was a nightmare for everybody, not just the people in boxing. Thanks to the Nevada Commission, to the MGM, and to our people, we were able to find a way to keep it going during the worst part of the pandemic. And now, maybe as a reward, we have the opportunity to promote what I think is one of the top fights that can be presented to the public. This is a terrific competitive fight. The fans have reacted by grabbing all the tickets. I can't wait to see it because it, as an old guy like myself, it reminds me of when I was a lot younger in the 80s, as I said before, when the great welterweights, Tommy and Ray and Duran were fighting each other, and the eyes of the world were on them. And we're back to that time now on November 20, when these two great fighters will meet. Who wins, who loses, that'll depend on a lot of factors.
All right, guys, Shawn's only got a few more minutes with us as we get closer to the 11 o'clock hour. Cole, we're going to go to you. Cole Wiston.
Awesome. Thank you, guys from Boxing World Weekly. Shawn, people have said this on paper. Crawford coming in, you're probably his toughest test. Do you think the same for Crawford?
Yes. I think that when I'm looking across the ring for myself, I'm seeing the next best thing to myself, to be honest with you, because you could talk about his skills, you could talk about his speed, his power, his ability to adjust, his ability to box, his ability to counterpunch, his ability to understand what to do and when to do it. I mean, I'm not looking at a mirror. I'm not looking at a mirror image of myself, but at the same time, I do feel like I'm looking at the next best thing out there.
And finally, you mentioned the home crowd. Who do you think that will favor on November 20th? Me. I got a feeling the home crowd's going to favor Showtime Shawn Porter. I think that while people have learned Terence Crawford and have grown to know him to be a dominant fighter, I think that people have really taken to my personality, my story, and who I've become to the sport. And I think for those reasons, there's going to be more Showtime fans out there than Bud fans.
All right, we got time for one more for Shawn. We'll go to Ismail Abdul Salam.
Thank you. Shawn, now that you've been doing your podcast, you've been on the media side, and I'm sure you realize how important it is to create narratives and set narratives in the industry. What do you feel is the biggest narrative that needs to be dispelled heading into this fight on the 20th?
Wow, great question. You know what? I think that somehow, some way, through the 37 fights that I've had, people still overlook some things, some of the qualities that I have. I think that the avid boxing fans, they're like, man, Shawn can win this fight. Shawn does this, Shawn does that. And they got a whole list of things that I can do. But then there's a bigger group of people who are just like, well, this is a test for Terence Crawford. We're going to see what Terence really has. And I don't take it personal, but at the same time, you got to understand that this is more than a test for Terence Crawford. This is, his livelihood is on the line, and everything that he's about is on the line. And with that being said, it's more than the test. And I think that people, that's the question that's really going to be answered there is, I think after this fight, Shawn Porter is going to be looked at as not going to be looked at anymore as that quote unquote test for fighters or a specific fighter.
Perfect. Thank you very much, and best of luck.
Hey, real quick, I want to go to Alan Alford real quick because my man been cheesing this entire show. So we'll end with him.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Appreciate that.
Alan,
All right. Thank you, Shawn. I appreciate that. Yeah, my question is this. Typically, when it comes to Terence fights, when he switches styles, in a nutshell, the fight's normally about over.
Yeah.
How are you going to handle when he switches styles, that in the ring, him going from an orthodox or southpaw, and adjust to that on the wing and be successful?
Sure. I got here because of my foundation. And that's a great question, Alan. I got here because of my foundation. I got here because I started boxing when I was 5 years old. I started competing when I was 8 years old. I got here because I never stopped. I played football in between. I did some other sports in between, but boxing has always been a part of my life. Anyone at the top of the boxing world, when you take a look at their history, more times than not, they started when they were young. It's something that they've always done. Even when you take a look at Terence, his story is a lot the same. A part of my foundation, I don't know why my dad created this rule, but my dad had a rule. When guys would switch, you jump on them. You don't allow a guy to switch and adjust to now fighting from the other stance. And so with that being the rule of boxing for me at such a young age, that's a part of my foundation. So when you're asking me, well, man, how are you going to handle when he switches? Well, I've been handling that literally my whole life. I'm 34. I've been doing this since I was 6 years old. I've been competing since I was 8. That's a part of who I am. Part of who I am is handling guys when they want to switch styles, or they want to go from being a counterpuncher to being aggressive, and so on and so forth, So here's the thing, man. I'm prepared for everything that Terence Crawford is going to bring on fight night. And easier said than done. But my record speaks for itself. I always answer the bell. I'm always ready. And there's a reason my name is Showtime. I show up on Showtime.
Hey, Shawn, before we let you go, first of all, thanks so much for spending time with everybody on this call. I can just see everybody's faces smiling, everybody's grinning. Everybody's excited about this fight.
Yeah, man.
Final thoughts before you click leave meeting.
I'm excited myself. I think that all of the talking is just about done. I got a couple of surprises next week I'm excited about. And man, this is basically who I am. And this is what I do, and I'm looking forward to next week. I will also say this. You've never seen, Terence Crawford has never been in the ring with the fighter as confident, as poised, and as excited as I'm going to be on fight night. And that is a problem for him. You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Shawn.